Here it is for you guys. Enjoy.
Well, welcome to We the Thunder with no Stash at the moment, and then video-less Shooter. But we do have him on the phone. Shooter, can you hear me?
I'm here.
You're here. You and Stash were at the game tonight. So how was it? Are you still there?
I'm here.
Okay. How was it at the game today?
It wasn't an ideal home game. A loss, a really good first period, and then seems and then we actually left at the second intermission. Technically, we didn't get kicked out, but we left in advance of getting kicked out. So
for those that aren't aware, I gave Shooter and Stash my seats tonight, so I can't wait until the next home game to hear what happened in those seats today. Or if the Queen of Boltsville, Kim Ricci, comes on tonight, she sits right in front of you guys, so maybe she'll let us in on a little bit of what was going on in those seats tonight. Matthew Orozco said too many STMs selling to Boston tonight. I can tell you Boston fans were very loud on TV tonight, and I do know I saw my seats were going for over $100 if I was trying to sell them on Ticketmaster. So unfortunately, it's the name of the game with some STMs that, you got to sell your tickets when you can. And tonight would have been one of those games that you could have made some money off of a game if you wanted to. Shooter, was tons of Bruins fans around you? Shooter. Okay, apparently Shooter is either delayed or can't hear us right now. So, Kim was at the game. Kim was right in front of Shooter and Stash. Bunch of obnoxious Bruin fans being antagonistic. And with the drunk Stash, that's not good. So I can only imagine how that went. Stephanie, Bruins fans always are. Yes, they're always pain in the asses. They're always loud. Matt, let's talk about who stays and who goes when we're healthy. So, can you hear us now, Shooter, yet? Apparently not. So while we're waiting for Shooter to be able to hear us, let's talk about Rudy Baltzer. First goal is a bolt. His third goal of the season. Actually, I thought he was one of the better players of the game tonight. Look, we got Shooter. Now, can you hear us? Oh, we had Shooter. So I thought the best player of the game tonight was Paul. The second place was Rudy. I thought Rudy was definitely got it going. When you don't have someone like Point even getting 3 shots on goal, it's not going to be a good night for you. And there goes Shooter. So we're going to play this. It's just going to be the schoolie show right now, the professor show. So what you guys think about Baltzer's performance now? We saw coming in, Ross Colton is injured day to day. He had, upper body injury. Bogo his back for his second game. I think Bogo was doing good. Bogo really is showing an old Bogo rather than the Bogo that was here during the Stanley Cup. I thought he was really like his first year here. It's really weird seeing him wear the 24 because that's Callie's number, and I don't think anybody can ever make that anybody else's number besides Callie. But Bogo did pretty good wearing the 24. Hedman is not himself. He did have some good plays. I thought Sergachev, I think Sergachev's gotten a little pep in his step since he was officially put on the first power play unit. I think that gave him some confidence, and he's getting better. David, still early in the season. I agree. It's still way early in the season, but Boston was my team at the beginning of the season who I thought was really going to be good this year because I think it's the lost hurrah for all those big players. Congratulations to Bergeron for getting his 1,000th point tonight. So good that. Congrats for him. It was really cool. It sucks it was on our home ice. It was nice to see the whole team though go off the bench and go give him a hug. I think that was probably why there was tons of Boston fans. As soon as they started getting close, you tend to get a lot of people that travel for the team for that kind of stuff. So it was really cool. Stammer's 7 points away from his. So I'd imagine within the next 2 weeks he gets it. So it'll be interesting to see. Hopefully when we're in Boston, playing in Boston, it'd be cool to see Stammer get his 1,000th point there and everybody jump off the bench and go give Stammer a hug. So that'd be nice. Yeah, it's early next week. Well, what do we got? 2 games before we have Boston again. Yeah, we have St. Louis on Friday, at Buffalo on Monday, and then we have. Let's try bringing Shooter back in here. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm good now.
Look at you.
I didn't have a great remote connection, so sorry about that, man.
It's all right. We'll forgive you this time. You made sure you got a beer before you join us again.
Well, I got the beer before the Wi-Fi, so it's the order of things around here, especially after tonight.
So Matthew says, how drunk was Stash?
I mean, what kind of scale are we going with? Are we going through like a 1 to 10 or an A through F? I mean, he's not on the show, even though he was going to join from Gen X Tavern, but I guess not. So
1 through Dave Anderchuk. How many Dave Anderchucks drunk is he?
This big out of the screen. Actually, I tweeted about us getting kicked out. We didn't get kicked out. We left before we got kicked out. After the second period, it was nothing good was going to happen. So we left. We decided to leave. But yeah, that horrible second period, great first period. But it seems like every game I go to, we just have a crap second period so far this season. So maybe I just need to go outside for second periods. I don't know.
Yeah, that first period was really good. Ended up 1-1 after the first period, but really the Lightning had all the momentum. They did take away 2 shots at the beginning of the second period from the first. So, but even to begin with, we had an 8-0 shot differential. And the boys really seemed to be riding that 4-game win streak and the momentum going into the Boston game. Boston, of course, the number 1 team in the NHL right now. They're on the hot streak. I was saying earlier that this was my team to pick as who I thought was going to do good this year because of the last hurrah for those guys. So, but it was definitely a milestone. We talked about this the last couple shows, how we're beating the teams that we're supposed to beat, but we're not beating the teams that, are toss up like this. I thought this was a good judgment on both teams. I thought Boston looked good at times, but then it almost seemed like they were allowing Tampa to get back in. And I think that's where Boston has to work in on theirs, is probably not letting that lead slip away. And Tampa needs to work on building that lead rather than coming from behind.
Yeah, I mean, you have to give Boston some credit for just. I mean, they didn't really show up for the first period. I know they scored one goal, but kind of a soft goal on Bassey's part, and after really being dominated for most of the period, and once again, much like Capitals game, over a week ago now, we held them to very few shots in that first period, and Boston came out in the second period like that first period never even happened. So there was a long pause for the Bergeron goal, the 1,000th point, which I know ticked off a lot of fans that didn't really know what was going on. And there's also, once again, way too many Boston fans in the house matching, and towards the second period and end of the game, louder than Lightning fans. So, if you're a season ticket member and you sold your tickets and you don't know who you sold them to, you should be ashamed of yourself, because that game was pretty embarrassing as far as fans go.
Well, I did say when you weren't there that unfortunately there's some games that you can make your money on, and this is one of those games. My tickets were going for over $100. And
so much.
And I almost said, and Thanksgiving week, traditionally, holiday weeks, Thanksgiving, Christmas, you start getting a lot of opposing fans because people are away on vacation. People are able to visit. Kids are out of school. So this is when you can sell your tickets, really. And because you're going out of town, you sell your tickets. I know I've seen at least 4 people I know that are season ticket members that sold their tickets to tonight's game. And my guess is probably not to people they know. So who buys them? You never know.
Yeah, what are you going to do? I think that's what threw the stash off for sure. I don't know if it's been a long time since he's been to a Boston game, but I don't think he was expecting Boston fans to be as loud or just in full force like they were. I mean, to be honest with you, it wasn't like we weren't close outnumbered. It was way louder. Lightning fans, we just got to be a little bit louder ourselves, I think, especially after that first period when we looked like the better team. And then the second period, it just looked, I don't know, it was just another bad second period. I mean, the third period, they looked better, but I didn't get to see much of the game. I listened to a lot of it. It sounded like there was a lot of missed calls, like the referees just took over by screwing up in the third period. But you can't blame it on that. I blame it on that second period. You got to play a full 60 minutes. And this team's always had that problem of not being able to put together the full 60 minutes, being able to play one period here or 2 periods and getting away with that. Against a good team like Boston, the best team in the league, you can't do that this year.
Well, I want to go back to where you say and how this has been after this comment here. The funny thing is his name is, I'm right, but his quote is, "We have a goaltending problem." I don't believe that for a minute. Gavassi has kept us in so many games. Moose has done awesome over the season. I think there's probably about 28, 29 teams that would love to have Vasi as their number 1 and Moose as their number 2. So I really don't think we have a goaltending problem. What do you say, Shooter?
29 shots and 5 goals. 2 for 4 on the power play, though. It seems like Vasi is always giving up at least one of those blocker high side goals a game. But in this league, you got to score 3 or 4 goals anyway to win, so that one goal doesn't really matter.
I do think that net was off before the goal crossed the line. So I really don't think that should have been a goal. I mean, we saw here at home, we saw about 6 different replays, and it definitely looked like. So the ruling is it can go up, it just can't go side to side or backwards. And when that goal did cross the line, it sure looked like it was going backwards from every replay that I saw. So I really thought, since the call on the ice was no goal, I thought for sure that they were going to uphold that just because it really wasn't conclusive. But
Yeah, and we thought the same in the stands, and that goal was a real kind of backbreaker in the game. That was what, their third or fourth goal?
that was their third
goal. Yeah, so they take a 3-1 lead.
And then the Perry thing that was questionable. Was it a stick? Was it a shoulder? They really didn't show enough replays on that to be able to. They quickly showed 2 replays here at home, but you really couldn't tell what it was. I do agree. I'm right. We have a Hedman problem. I do agree that. I still think he's possibly injured. Maybe not completely.
How long are you going to say he's injured for?
Yeah. Well, when is he ever going to get fixed?
I don't know, but like, if you're injured, don't play.
Yeah.
Let somebody else play that's not injured. And maybe that's a problem. Maybe we had some guys come back from injury tonight. So maybe Hedman needs to take Friday night off. You get a whole week off. Because they don't play again. They play Friday, they play Monday. Give Hedman the week off, because I'm just tired of hearing Hedman's hurt. Okay. Yeah. He's been hurt since he won the Stanley Cup, or the Conn Smythe.
So let's go through the week. We talked about how the Lightning need to learn how to put on the gas pedal and stuff like that. Besides the Calgary game, they've been eking out these wins. The first one after our last show last week was Dallas, 5-4 in Dallas against Dallas here. Then 4-1 against Calgary, and then Nashville, the 3-2 win. So let's start with Dallas. What did you see? Anything in Dallas that you liked?
Not too much defense. Very offensive. The defense was offensive in that game, but I thought the better team won. I think you can say the same thing about the Calgary game. The Calgary game was 4-1. It was way closer than that. Like, Calgary played pretty good that game. The Lightning kind of played playoff defense hockey that game. We thought that Hedman was possibly going to get a shutout that game, but they let one in. And I don't know, I give I give Vasi a lot of credit for that game. So, I mean, you can talk bad about Vasi all day long, but like, he's still the guy you got to have in there day in and day out. It'll be interesting to see, since they have Friday night, which you assume is going to be Vasi, and then what they do for Monday, Tuesday next week. I'm assuming they're going to go with Elliott. Monday, I think, Buffalo, and then Tuesday they have a game. So I'm assuming Vasi, Elliott, Vasi.
Tuesday's a rematch in Boston, so I would say Vasi goes back against Boston again. But then do they want to hurt his confidence and have another potentially game like this? So they play Vasi against Buffalo and leave Moose out there against Boston.
You're gonna win by Vasi, and you're going to die by Vasi. So you might as well put him out there against the best.
Yeah. Nashville. Well, we talked about Calgary. Calgary's 4-1. It actually seemed closer than it was, but we had goals by Stammer, by Cooch, Myers. Myers got his first goal.
And Myers and Fleury, I feel like, have been playing better. I didn't really pay attention too much to tonight in the defense and who was out there and stuff, because there was just so much going on.
Myers and Cole were the big ones tonight, I thought.
On the bad side?
No, we're playing good. Myers was all over the ice, and the players seem to be trusting him a lot more with the puck. So I like to see that. I think Fleury's going to be the odd man out. When Perbix comes back, I think Fleury ends up the odd man out and he goes down. Myers stays, and Cole seems to be finally picking up and being almost like a Bogo-ish defenseman.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see what happens with the defense. I think we're still in better shape than we were at the beginning of the season. I think Hedman's gotta step up. He plays all those minutes. It seems like he gives up a lot, but it's tough to judge defensemen. You know, Hedman was a -1 tonight. So was Fleury. So was Chernak. He didn't have his best game, but he also played 25 minutes. By the way, Sergachev also played almost 25 minutes and didn't really let much happen while he was out there.
Back when you couldn't hear us, I was saying I really think since they put him on that first power play unit, his confidence has went way up. And I think he seems to be playing a lot better and with more meaning. I think he feels like the team depends on him more now, which is, I think, something he needed. When his first couple of years, he played because he was the young guy on the team. He was the baby on the team. I remember going to practice his rookie and his second year, and he had to carry everybody's sticks on the team because the youngest player has to carry all the sticks from one rink to the other rink when they would switch over to the second rink. And it was always Sergachev because he was the youngest player on the team come training camp time. And I think the first and second year he played real good because he was the young guy and he had that in the back of his head. Now I think he needed that we depend on you more, and that's why he's playing better this time. I think when he has a goal set in and when he feels some type of way is when he plays better.
He's the best defender on the team right now. I mean, I don't know what people are watching out there. I know Stas would debate me, so thank God he's not on. But he's the best defender on the team right now, offensively, defensively. And if you don't see it, just because you're not paying attention. Sure, he turned over the puck the other night, and we almost lost the game because of it. But I thought it was still the ice. It was the ice that made that puck flip. It wasn't Sergachev. He was looking where to pass it. All of a sudden, the puck hits a chip in the ice. It flips over his stick. Sure, it's Sergachev's giveaway, but it's not. He's the best defender on the team right now. Hedman's, I don't know, with his head's just not in the game. He didn't look great tonight. He's still a great player. I have his jersey on right now. He's still a great player. But he's not the best defender on the team right now. And Sergachev, I think you're right. I think he's got the confidence now. He worked out really hard in the offseason after getting that contract, and he's feeling some momentum because of the points that he gets. And I still kind of wish that he would get a chance to play right wing or left wing for a game or two. Since we have so many defensive players now, it's a little bit of a logjam once the injuries clear out. I think Sergachev would be an awesome wing, but the only way that happens is if there's just a ton of injuries on the offensive side. But if you haven't been paying attention to him and if you want to debate me on that, you can hit me up on Twitter @ShootyShoots all day long. I'll defend Sergachev. All our defenders make mistakes. It's just Sergachev seemed to stand out a little bit more because he also plays as much time as Victor Hedman these days.
Yeah. And it's going to be interesting when Perbix comes back. I really think Matt's asking in the chat, what's everyone's impression of Perbix? I think he stays. I think he's taken the Sergachev path. The thing that is different is it's his first year. He's a rookie, but he's 24 years old. He's the same age as Sergachev. He just hasn't played in the league that long. But he credits almost everything to Sergachev. And I think that's part of what Sergachev is made Sergachev better also is having that defenseman that he's having to mentor now rather than being the person that's being the mentee. So I think he's mentoring Perbix. He's seeing the growth of Perbix. And it's like a little proud papa. I think if they continue the way they are, they finish as a pair together for this season. Perbix and Sergachev. I don't think you mess that one up. No matter who gets healthy, no matter how it goes, I think those two stay together down the line.
And we can blame defenders all day long about tonight's game, but there was one line that was just horrible tonight, and it was Point, Hagel, and Kucherov that really just couldn't get anything going. They had a couple chances, but defensively, they were absolutely awful.
Well, even offensively, they were awful. I mean, you had Stammer only had one shot. Wait, no, sorry.
You still had what was it? 4, 5, 6, 7 shots from that first line. They were a -3 though, and I know like plus minus is a kind of a weird stat because you can get a minus for just going for a change, but when you're a -3, that whole front line there, that's just a bad game. Like those guys played the most minutes out of anyone else. No points from the entire line. This team still wins or loses based on the superstars. It's Kucherov, it's Stamkos, it's Point, it's Hedman, and Spassi. That's the bottom line. It doesn't matter who's on the team. Those guys win, we win.
And something, Stash isn't on, but I got to bring in something that he constantly harps on, and that is the face-off percentage. All the games we won, these 4-game win streaks, we won the face-off percentage. Tonight, not even, I want to say it was quite lopsided going Boston's way. At least it seemed it. That face-off, especially even on a power play, we can't win a power play face-off in the offensive zone to save our lives. But when you're going against one of the best and 5-time Selke winner, it is kind of hard to do that. But tonight the face-off percentage was 52-48, but we still lost it. The last 4 games we won, or it was 50-50 in the one game. So, you gotta win those. Nick Paul tonight, I still think he's really the sign of the offseason.
Sure.
We got that from Double E Eric Errolson, Lightning Insider, after our last show last year. Once we went off the air, we were given a little tidbit of info that he was shopping for a house here in Tampa, even though they hadn't signed him. The next day at Locker Cleanout, I said to him, so I hear you're shopping for houses. Totally shocked him, and he said, why would I do that? I don't have a team. And then, of course, in the offseason. And then he signs the contract, and then the very first game this season, opening night, I said to him, I told you you're shopping for a house. And he's like, You did. So, yeah, I really think that is the offseason move so far of the season.
Yeah. And, it sucks that we have this show after this game because this week we went 3-1. And it was a good week. And you kind of talked about it. They didn't play their best hockey, but they just, found a way to win, kind of like they did last season. So it really wasn't a horrible week of hockey. It just kind of, ends this way. So it sucks to not play again until Friday. But I think we'll bounce back. I really see a couple wins before we go back to Boston and play them again. And I guarantee you, even though it's an away game, I guarantee you these guys play that game in Boston completely different than what we saw tonight. At least, more like the first period than like the second period. So they'll have some warm-up games against St. Louis, who's no slouch, and they'll have the game against Buffalo, which should be a warm-up for Boston. Sucks that it's on the back end of kind of back-to-back games. But, I think it's always good to have that chance to redeem yourself within a week or, a week and 8 days.
And we talked about the 1,000 points. Stammer's 7 points away. Could Stammer get that 1,000 point in Boston? Talked about it while we were waiting for you to sign.
Ron did it here, so we fucking own one.
So I said it would be kind of cool now if Stammer does it in Boston to see our team go off the bench and
Yeah.
head to.
Do they do that for every 1,000th point? Because I was like, did they just win the Stanley Cup? Because it seemed like it. Like there was that much celebration.
Well, this only the 5th player to ever do it in Bruins history.
It's been around for 150 years. Big fucking deal.
And one of the other guys was I think in attendance also.
Never heard of her.
Yeah.
Whoa, I need my sound effect. Whatever. I thought it was all. I thought it was a little bit overdone, but I guess that's what they do for 1,000. All I know is our guys better do the same if they're in Boston or wherever they're at. They better all rush the ice like they just won the Stanley Cup.
And the sad thing is after I watched, after you see it and I watched it here on TV, then the NHL, then everybody starts tweeting out, oh, the team rushes the ice to congratulate him. And so it was.
I didn't think they did that. I didn't think he did that for 1,000 points.
So, but the other person I was talking about in attendance was Phil Esposito.
I know.
Yeah, I know. And for those other people, I knew for anybody that was at home listening, Phil Esposito in the house in the booth with Dave Michigan.
I'm sure he didn't feel that different about how I felt about it. I didn't hear him on the radio, but
no, I would have liked to have heard him during that to see how he felt about that.
I don't know. Maybe I just never noticed, and that's what they do. It's a big accomplishment. The guy also quit for 2 weeks, but I guess so did Tom Brady in the offseason. So can't talk too much crap about him. I do feel like he has been the centerpiece of the team. Like I thought when he retired, what he did in the offseason, I thought that was the end of the Bruins that we're used to seeing because they've been down a couple past years. But hey, they're back. They're the team to beat. And you know what? I'm kind of glad. They took it to us tonight because, as Stash said, as he was kind of getting kicked out of Amelie, it's a regular season game.
Yeah.
Let's talk in the late spring, early summer about this, because as I reminded some fans that sat behind us, are the same crap talk from Florida Panthers fans last season. They were on the same exact road that this team's on. So talk to me in May. But they won tonight.
Same as Ranger fans too.
Yeah, right. And the Rangers are way more inconsistent than Boston's been. So
I gotta tell you, it's a lot odder seeing Strawley in a Boston Bruins uniform than it ever was a Florida Panthers uniform.
Yeah, it's weird that he's even still playing.
Yeah, but his name was called quite a few times tonight. I was like, good for you, Strawley, but not during this game, please.
Yeah, we also like to make goalies look good. Like, Braden Point, God bless him, but like you gotta finish some more of these chances. Like, you get these McDavid-like chances, and McDavid doesn't score on them all, but he scores on half of them. And Point, it feels like gets these amazing chances, a couple each game, and gets shut out on both of them, or all three of them. So I know hockey's a streaky sport. Look at Stamkos. Look at Killer. By the way, Killer, awful game. Absolutely awful game. 4 turnovers. I know he had some points because the second line's just been doing their thing lately, so he's getting credit with that. And he scored a couple goals, so I'm happy with Killer overall this season, but tonight he was awful. Maybe the worst player on the ice, but he'll bounce back. He'll score 2 goals next game. So not too worried. The good thing is, like, this team always responds to tough games like this. And they're pissed after losing this game because they knew they really were feeling it in that first period. I don't know if you got that sense on TV, but I felt like they were feeling it in that first period. And then they just kind of like let their guard down in the second.
Yeah, and and some of the Lightning's better games over the last couple of years has been when they don't attack that much like they did tonight. When they sit back and see what Boston's going to give them, see what the other team's going to give them, and then they make the adjustments. You got to give it to Boston for making those adjustments in the locker room during between the first and the second, and really coming out and handing them their asses that they couldn't get out of in the third period.
Yeah. There's not much else to say about it.
Adrian said, "I just got here at Stash and Emily jail."
He's not. We were gonna both go live from Gen X Tavern, and more to come on that. But it was super loud in there, and I just knew that nobody would be able to hear us, and you wouldn't take my advice as somebody that does sound stuff for a living. So I was like, "All right, dude, you stay here and do the show, and I'll leave so Schoolie at least has somebody." And now he's just not going to show up, I guess, because I was right. I don't know.
And then,
so whatever. He's not. Somebody will show up. It's that. So whatever.
But then, if anybody wants to know what it's like for them to be in a crowded bar, just take a look at one of the games last year when Shooter is trying to hand a random customer his credit card to pay the bill.
I brought that up. Yeah, I figured it would be better to have at least one of us on. And I even told him to go to his car. It would sound better. He would not have been able to hear us from there. So, because I didn't have my soundboard. That's why. We can actually, and we probably will do some shows from there, especially for this retro night. So more to come on that. But I didn't have our equipment, so it would have been us going live on a webcam, and it would, with that being our microphone too, it wouldn't have worked. But Sash doesn't believe me, so now he's just whatever.
Queen of Boltsville, Kim Ricci here said, "Point and pull to Kucherov tonight, passing instead of shooting." I agree. I think he's done that a lot this season. I thought he's gotten to that passing game. And you got to get what got you this big old contract that you signed, and that is shooting the fucking puck. You've got to do that. You've got to shoot the puck, and we need to stop this passing.
All right, we need 2 spots for the challenge here. Let's actually go through that. For this past week, we had 4 games. The first challenge was supposed to be points for an opponent. Schoolie had Marchand, Sash had Costa, I had Kadri. The Thunder had Hubie. By the way, if you want to be the Thunder, type in 77. If you want to be the Stash, type 86 because he's not here, so you need someone to fill in. So
Rachie already pouring in 86, so she is stashed tonight.
We need a 77 too. So for that first category, none of those players scored more than 1 point. Marshall, Costa, Kadri, Hubie. We're not getting beat by the good players. And by the way, we only lost 1 of the 4 games last week or the past 7 days. So not giving anyone a point because nobody deserves it on that one. So no points on that one. Shots for the Lightning. So before this game, there were 101 shots. There were 35 this game, which equals 136. Schoolie had 118 for the week. Little short. Stash had 133, pretty close. I had 127. The Thunder had 141. So 136 is going to go to Stash. Not here, and still getting points. And then the record was 3-1 in Schoolie and Stash. Both nailed that one. So guess what? That means Stash takes the lead, even though he's not here. Schoolie is now tied with me at 5, and then the Thunder is trailing behind with 4. The stash goes from last to first this week and is not even here to enjoy it. No, we left. Stash is not in the bush. We left in the second intermission.
Someone needs to hit 77 in the chat so that you can represent the Thunder on tonight's.
Yeah, we have three simple questions. Right, 77. Tim's going to be Stash. Somebody else needs to represent the rest of the fans here. We got some pretty simple questions for you to answer for the next week of hockey. By the way, I already mentioned it. You got the Blues on Friday. You got the Sabres on Monday. We're going to do a post-game show on Monday. I will be at home. I think both of those games, Monday and Tuesday games, are away, right?
Yeah, both of them are away.
I can't hear me. Sounds like a good time.
He can't hear you because he doesn't have a speaker. I'm going to block Aaron. Hold on. No. Someone hit 77 so that you can represent. Come on, Stephanie or Serena or Aaron or you.
There you go. Let's go. Okay, first question, Kim and Matthew. First answer gets in. Most goals for a Lightning player.
Do we pick the player and the goals?
Yes, I want goals and player. It's going to be roster and it's going to be him. So get a player and give us an amount of goals. Schooley, you can go first.
You're cutting in and out. Actually, let's let Matthew go first. Matthew, pick a player and the amount of goals that for the Lightning that you think are going to score most in the next 3. And then Kimberly, you do the same thing. How many goals and by what player? Okay, so Matt, shoot off 3 goals.
2 games this week.
Is it 2? Oh, yeah, it's 2.
What's Kim got?
Kim hasn't said yet. Kim, Ricci, what do you say? You can't pick Cooch?
You can go.
I'm going to say Nick Paul. And I'm going to say 3 goals.
All right. I'm going to go Hedman with 2. And maybe it happens. So, Kim, we're just waiting for you on goals and how many. The next 2 are really simple. Predict the score for the Blues game. Predict the score for the Sabres game. We can guess the same thing if we want to. So,
Kim says Stammer 3.
Good guess. Stash would appreciate that. Although he should have said killer. All right. Score for the Blues game and score for the Sabres game. Final score, we're guessing.
4-2 Blues game, Bolts. And 5-2 Buffalo game, Bolts.
You're going to say Buffalo's going to win. So I'm going to go 3-2 for the Blues, and we'll go for the Sabres. We'll go for the old 7-3 game. We're due for an offensive explosion. All right, so Tim and Matt, we need game predictions, score predictions for versus Sabres and for versus the Blues. So Blues game's Friday night, 8 o'clock. I believe that's nationally televised. So don't miss that one. Black Friday. Get your shopping done.
So Matt says 4-2 Blues, Bolts win. 5-2 Buffalo, Bolts win. So he picked the same thing as me.
Very creative for us.
Now, Tim Ricci said 2-1 versus the Blues, the Bolts win, and 5-2 Bolts over the Sabres.
5-2. Everybody likes that 5-2 score.
Yeah.
All right. Well, at least the staff will be happy that he has taken the lead this week, but we got another week of Lightning hockey, just 2 games. I think we'll go 2-0 over these 2 games. We'll do a post-game show after the Sabres game, and so we should be in a better mood after that. And I think we'll all be here, unless the Stash quits, but I don't think he will.
And I will be, yeah. We have to figure out some kind of watch party sometime soon. I did find out that Cigar City and Kim and I went to that with Sticks of Fire the other night. They are open Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So any away game Friday, Saturday, Sunday, that's always a good option. Their food choices are kind of slim pickings, but it is a good option to be able to go to, especially on a Saturday or Sunday, because you're not competing against college or pro football.
Well, I can tell you that we did talk to the folks at Gen X Tavern, which is a 90s, 80s type of bar downtown, and we will have some sort of event at Gen X Tavern, specifically for the reverse retro before and after the game.
Of course, because it's Gen X.
So yeah. So those will be actually on game days. You can watch the game there, or meet us there before, or meet us there afterwards. So that's going to be probably for the remaining 4 games. So there's 4 more reverse retro games, and we'll be at Gen X for all of those.
So let's see. And what else? Anything else you want to talk about?
No, it just kind of sucks to have a kind of a weekend like this, but it is what it is. Can't win them all. I'm fine with going 3-1 and losing to the best team in the league, but we have to start to beat some of these better teams, like you mentioned earlier.
Hey, and you hear it here first. Walmart has PS5s and Xboxes on Black Friday. Just saying.
There you go. Black Friday. Get it. And then go to the Lightning game. Listen, I'm planning on going on Friday. If it's more St. Louis Blues fans than Lightning fans, I'm just going to jump off the beer garden. I'm just going to jump right to...
I will not be at Friday's game. Someone actually won them in Thunderbolts for donating to Seats for Service, my tickets to that game. So, plus I have to be at work at 4 a.m. that morning because of it being Black Friday.
That's no excuse. Thomas might still be there, so don't worry.
So I will be chilling out. I'll actually probably set my alarm for puck drop. Because it's going to be a long Black Friday with PS5s and Xboxes and the new iWatch. So,
if I do go on Friday, I will watch the second period from outside because these guys just can't play. Any game I go to, the second period is horrible. I can't deal with it anymore. I'm just going to have to watch from outside. So that's the plan.
We gotta build the wall higher so there ain't a jump from there.
No, I won't jump, but still it's annoying. But hey, it happens. It's this team's good. This team's gonna make the playoffs. This team's gonna come together. So 4 games. So what else can you ask for?
Matt's asking about Sorelli. Sorelli, from what I'm hearing, the timetable is mid-December.
I thought it was always around Christmas time.
Yeah. I would look for him that Toronto, Detroit, Buffalo, maybe away games there. That right there is going to be a tall tale, the 20, 21st, and 23rd, to see when his timetable is. Got to remember, Bogo had the surgery first, and so his timetable was always just about a month before Sorelli. So I think Sorelli still got a month to go. One question I wanted to ask you that you weren't around. We got to see some of the comments about him. What do you think about Rudy tonight?
He scored. Took him less games than Cole. I mean,
yeah. No, I thought he was all over the ice tonight. It seemed he was he seemed like a little. Remind me somewhat of a Conjure or Conacher, or one of those little gritty guys that just was a gnat. Not quite Yanni type guy, but
I don't even think about it because what we were just talking about. What happens when Torelli comes back?
right, yeah,
I mean, these guys are fighting for a job that they are never going to win.
yeah, because Matt brings up he's the more upside than Cole Cupkey, but
Yeah, but Cupkey's gone. They're fighting for a job that is not there. They're fighting for a job on a different team, is what they're fighting for. So, I mean, I'll cheer for them both, but they're both going to be put on waivers, or one of them will do the other.
Unless someone's injured, knock on wood. We had that Colton is day to day right now, so he's not going to be on IR. So there is going to be that when Colton comes back.
I thought he looked pretty good on that fourth line.
Yeah,
and I didn't think Perry looked good on the third line.
No, and it was his third goal of the season, which short season, third goal already of the season. That's more than some of, I think, half of the team. So it's you got to take a look at him in the next couple of games and see how he is as long as Colton stays out.
Yeah, and that's I mean, if you're going to play tough teams like this and they're going to shut out the first line like Boston did, you have to have that third and fourth line score goals. And those guys, sure, they contribute, but it doesn't seem like as soon as like Point and Coots get shut down, they're not the ones scoring goals right away. Like you better really cross your fingers and toes and everything else to get a goal from those guys lately. But I think that also changes through the ebbs and flows of the season too. So,
and all I kept thinking during this was that these were the matchups that Coot wanted, the lines that Coot wanted. Imagine when we go to Boston and the matchups that Coot wanted, they shut down our top line.
These coaches outthink themselves all the time, though.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing to consider is Boston has a newer coach too. So is Coop preparing for, the old Boston coach, or is he preparing for what they have now? I don't really pay too much attention to their lines. So all I know is our first line got their butt beat tonight.
Yeah, they sure did. So, anything else before we get over here? Foot plays over Fleury. Yeah, Kim, you missed it earlier. I definitely think Fleury's the odd man out there. I think Fleury's going to be the odd man out. Rudy's going to be the odd man out. Koke's going to be the odd man out.
I still think Myers is still right there, too.
Yeah, I do, but I give Myers over Fleury. And, now we was a Foot they put on IR. So we don't know when he's coming back. Concussion.
I thought he's practicing today. I think he was practicing today. So
he was concussion protocol still kind of. So
he's missed more games than the guy who hit him in the head was suspended for, which I have a problem with. I'm sorry if you cause a injury, especially a head injury like that, you should be suspended till that guy comes back.
Yep.
But whatever, that's how they do it. So. Anyway, yeah, we'll be in better spirits next week. I hope everyone has an awesome Thanksgiving. We got some cool stuff planned coming up. Stash will be back. He's had a rough night tonight. Might be mad at me for no reason whatsoever, because how can he be mad at me? Hey, next Monday night, we will be live again, and I guarantee you we will be in better spirits than tonight.
All right. Sign us off.
All right, this has been We the Thunder. Don't forget to be the Thunder.